Mahabharata, Chapter 30, The War Begins. Read by Nirvan Bajaj and Digveer Bajaj. Mahabharata, Chapter 30, The War Begins. Vaishnampayan then continued, O monarch, when Krishna reported on the failure of his peace mission at the court of Hastinapur, Yudhishthir began preparations for war. Yudhishthir said, So here we are, prepared for battle with each of our Akshayinis being led by great heroes like Draupad, Virat, Drishtadyumna, Shikhandi, Satyaki, Chekitana and Bhima. Tell us, O Sahadev, who do you consider to be worthy of being appointed as the commander-in-chief? Sahadev said, In my opinion, Virat, the mighty king of Matsya, should be the commander-in-chief of our forces. Nakul said, Draupad should be our commander-in-chief. Arjun said, Drishtadyumna is destined to kill Drona. He is fully conversant with all aspects of warfare and will be able to withstand the arrows of Bhishma. He alone is fit to be our commander-in-chief. Bhima said, Shikhandi is born to kill Bhishma, hence Shikhandi should be our commander-in-chief. Lastly, Yudhishthir said, Krishna is all-knowing. He is aware of our strengths and weaknesses. So let him name our commander-in-chief. Krishna said, O king, I fully approve of the heroes you have chosen to lead your 7 Akshayinis. As for the commander-in-chief, I think the choice of Drishtadyumna is the right one. O king, once Krishna had named the commander-in-chief, the troops enthusiastically began to get ready. As the Pandav army in martial array set out for the Kurukshetra, the atmosphere resounded with the lion roar of warriors, the blowing of conch shells, the neighing of horses, and the trumpeting of elephants. When they reached the cool and shady stretch of flat land, Yudhishthir signaled the army to stop and said that we shall camp here. And so the Pandav army pitched tents and camped there. Meanwhile, at Hastinapur, Duryodhana called Karna, Dushasan and Shakuni and said, Having failed in his peace mission, Krishna is here to incite the Pandavas to fight. Their allies Virat and Draupad are old enemies. Hence, this war is going to be a very fearsome one. So let us prepare for war immediately. Let our allies with their armies proceed to Kurukshetra and camp there. Let the roads from our city to the camp be levelled. Let the tents be well equipped with arms and weapons and decked with streamers and flags. And so Duryodhana's forces also got ready and set off for the battlefield of Kurukshetra. On the eve of the battle, the Pandavas spent long hours in discussion. Yudhishthir asked, O Krishna, what do you think should be our stance in the present situation? What do you feel we should do so that we do not stray away from the path of dharma? Krishna said, O Yudhishthir, Duryodhana is being unjust to you. You have no choice but to declare war. The Pandav warriors were jubilant at this statement of Krishna's, but Yudhishthir sighed. Much as I tried to avoid it, that we must fight our kinsmen and elders seems inevitable. Arjun said, O king, you have heard the advice of Vidur and Kunti conveyed to you by Krishna. Neither of them would stray from the right path of righteousness. Now it is not proper for us to withdraw from war. Krishna said, Arjun is right, Yudhishthir. The matter was thus settled. In the Kauravas camp, Duryodhana divided his armies into 11 Akshayinis, and he placed Kripa, Drona, Shalya, Jayadratha, Sudakshin, Kritavarma, Ashwadhama, Karna, Shakuni, and Bhalika, the king of Bhalik, in charge of one each. Each chariot was pulled by 4 excellent horses and was equipped with 100 bows. There were 2 warriors, 2 attendants, and 1 charioteer on every chariot. Each elephant was decked with ornaments and carried 7 warriors and loads of weapons and quivers of arrows. Apart from these were thousands of cavalrymen and hundreds of thousands of infantrymen. Duryodhana then addressed Bhishma. O great sire, You are my well-wisher and a past master of welfare. It is destined that you will meet your death only when you are ready for it. Be therefore the commander of our vast forces. Lead us into battle. Bhishma said, O Duryodhana, I shall certainly fight for you as I have pledged and command your forces. However, I cannot slay the Pandavas. I shall therefore kill 10,000 of their warriors every day. There is another condition before I accept command. Karna will not share the battlefield with me. Either he shall fight or I shall. Hearing this, Karna said, As long as Bhishma is alive, I shall not fight. Only after his death shall I face Arjun in battle. When the news of Bhishma having taken the command of the Kaurav army reached the Pandav camp, Yudhishthir said, Ensure that the army is alert and ready for combat. Our first encounter will be with our grandsire Bhishma. Let skilled warriors lead our forces into battle. And so the 7 divisions of the Pandav army were arrayed for battle under the command of Drishtadyumna. The overall command was bestowed on Arjun, who had Krishna as his guide and charioteer. As they sat discussing the strategy of war, Krishna's brother Balram arrived there. He said, This fierce and terrible slaughter appears inevitable. I look forward to seeing you all emerge safe and sound from this strife. As Bhima and Duryodhana are both my disciples and are equally dear to me, I shall not take sides in this battle. I cannot bear to see the destruction of all the Kauravas. I shall go on a pilgrimage far away from here to the banks of the river Saraswati. And with that, Balram left. Then Yudhishthir had another visitor, King Rukmi, brother-in-law of Krishna. Addressing Arjun, he said, If you are nervous, I am here to help you. I shall single-handedly kill all your forces. Arjun said, O great king, do not forget I am a son of Pandu and a disciple of Drona. Now with Krishna as my ally, what have I to fear? You may stay with us or go as you wish. Rukmi then offered his assistance to Duryodhana. Oh Duryodhana, I am here to help you if you need me. Duryodhana replied, O king, I do not need your help. I have many invincible heroes among my ranks. And so, 2 great warriors, Balram and Rukmi, were abstained from the great war. Then, O king, Duryodhana sent a message to the Pandav camp through Uluka, son of Shakuni. Uluka arrived at the Pandav camp and met Yudhishthir. He said, O king, I am here merely as a messenger to convey what Duryodhana has to say to you. Yudhishthir said, Do not fear. Tell me what Duryodhana said. Duryodhana said, Address Yudhishthir thus, O son of Kunti. Recall the game of dice and how Draupadi's modesty was outraged in the Kaurav assembly. Act like a man. Say to Bhima, O Bhima, remember your vow to drink Dushasan's blood. The time has come to fulfill it. The field of Kurukshetra is ready for war. Come, let us clash. Then, O king, to Arjun, Duryodhana asked me to convey this. O Arjun, do not brag. Fight! Fight for 13 years I enjoyed sovereignty while you suffered in the forest. Neither the fear of Krishna nor of you will make me give up the kingdom. Hearing these words, all the Pandavas stood up shaking with rage. Seeing Bhima's fury, Krishna said to Uluka, O Uluka, tell this to Duryodhana. Your message has been heard and understood. Now as you so ardently desire, let there be war. Bhima's fury burst forth. O fool! Repeat my words to the vile Duryodhana. It is in deference to you that the wishes of our elder brother that we tolerated your misdeeds. But no more. I will slay you and your brothers as I have vowed. Sahadev said, Tell Shakuni, your wicked father, that he has caused our animosity with the Kauravas. Let the battle start. I will slay you first and then your father. Arjun said, O Uluka, words are wasted now. I will convey the rest of my reply through my Gandiva on morrow. Yudhishthir said, Go and tell this to Duryodhana. O sinful wretch, you have always acted basely towards us. Be a Kshatriya. Do not hide behind clever preceptors. Rely on your own might and fight. Krishna said, take my answer to Duryodhana. O fool, don't think I'll be a mere charioteer to Arjuna if provoked. I can annihilate the entire Kaurav army. Shikhandi said, tell Duryodhana, I shall slay his grandsire Bhishma, for I have been treated specifically for that task. Drishtadyumna said, and I shall slay Drona. Then Uluka left the Pandavas, and returning to Duryodhana, he repeated the Pandav replies. Duryodhana called Dushasan, Karna and Shakuni and said, prepare the troops for battle and sunrise. Then Duryodhana called Bhishma and said, O grandsire, with your leadership and Drona's support, our victory is ensured. Would you classify the Rathis, Atirathis and Maharathis in the two armies? Bhishma said, O Duryodhana, you and your brothers, skilled and accomplished warriors, are Rathis for certain. The mighty Drona, endued with great prowess, is a Maharathi. Drona's son, Ashwadhama, a master at warfare, is a Maharathi. This wild braggart Karna is neither a Rathi nor a Athirani. In my judgment, he is only half a Rathi. Touched to the quick, Karna replied, O grandsire, you never fail to insult me at the slightest opportunity. The callers do not realize that you are impairing their interest by demoralizing me at this hour. He turned to Duryodhana. O Duryodhana, Bhishma will only misguide you. Abandon him. I can defeat the entire Pandava army single-handed. But I will not fight as long as Bhishma lives. Bhishma retorted, O son of a charioteer, you are no match for me. Be a man and fight Arjun whom you so often challenge. Let me see how you survive that encounter. Duryodhana intervened. O grandsire, now tell me about the might of the Pandavas. Bhishma said, then listen, O Duryodhana. Yudhishthira is without a doubt a Rathi. The mighty Bhima is equal to 8 Rathis. Nakul and Sahadev are both Rathis. With Krishna as his charioteer and with his celestial weapons, there is no one to match the valor of Arjun. Virat and Draupad are both Maharathis. Shikhandi is a Rathi and Drishtadyumna is an Athirathi. I have now told you who are the Rathis, Athirathis and Maharathis in both the armies. I will fight Arjun and Krishna and other mighty heroes, but I will not kill Shikhandi, even if he opposes me. You must have heard that Shikhandi was born a female and later became a male. I will not fight a woman or one who was formerly a woman. This is my vow. The next morning, as the corps of troops arrayed for battle, Duryodhana said, O Bhishma, please tell me in how many days you can destroy the entire Pandava army. Bhishma said, slaying 10,000 foot soldiers and 1,000 chariot warriors daily, I shall destroy the entire Pandava army in a month's time. When asked, Drona said he would take a month, Kripa estimated 2 months, whereas Karna claimed that he could destroy the army in just 5 days. Bhishma burst out with laughter at Karna's claim. Just wait till you come face to face with Arjun. Till then you can continue to fool yourself. The next morning, led by Bhishma and Drona, Duryodhana, Ashwadhama and Jayadratha and other mighty warriors, the Kaurav army marched out in all its strength. Likewise, the Pandava army also marched out, headed by Drishtadyumna and other heroes leading the troops, included Arjuna, Bhima, Virat, Draupad and Shikhandi. Then warriors representing the two sides met to decide the code of conduct. Each day at sunset, the armies would cease to fight and behave as friends. At sunrise, the battle would begin anew. Single combat should be between equals, a horseman to fight a horseman. Likewise, charioteers, elephants, troops and cavalry would attack only their equals. Those who had left the field who were unarmed or had surrendered were to be spared from attack. The non-combatant attendants, couriers and conch blowers were also to be left alone. While the two armies were arrayed for battle, Ved Vyas visited King Dhritarashtra. He said, "O king, the hour of death is nigh for all your sons and their allies. I could bestow divine vision on you to enable you to follow the battle if you so wish." Dhritarashtra said, "I cannot bear the thought of seeing my near ones killed, but I would like to hear the full account of the battle." Ved Vyas said, "So be it. I shall bestow divine vision on Sanjaya. He will be able to see everything that happens on the battlefield and narrate it to you." Dhritarashtra said, "O Sanjaya, now that the venerable sage has bestowed divine vision on you, tell me what is happening on the battlefield, how the two armies have arranged themselves." Sanjaya replied, "O king, as soon as the sun rose, the air reverberated with the blare of conches, the sound of drums, the neighing of horses, and the war cries of the armies. The corps of armies surged forth, led by Bhishma. Behind him were the mighty Drona, Kripa, and Ashwadhama. Seeing the mammoth corps of army in battle array advancing towards them, Yudhishthira said to Arjun, "O Arjun, compared to the chorus, our army is much smaller. Keeping this in mind, we should arrange our troops in a suitable formation." Arjun replied, "O king, let us then organize our troops to form the array called the Vajra, which is the thunderbolt. Designed by Indra himself, it is an invincible formation." And thus the arrayed the Pandavas army began to march forward, led by Drishtadyumna, Bhima, and Arjun. And on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, rain fell from a cloudless sky, and the roll of thunder was heard. A mighty wind blew across the field, throwing sands and pebbles in all directions. So thick was the dust cloud that darkness descended at sunrise. When Yudhishthira saw the vast corps of army, his heart sank. He addressed Arjun, "O Arjun, Bhishma has arrayed the vast corps of army in an invincible formation. How can we hope to fight them?" Arjun said, "O king, it is possible for a small army to defeat a vast force, for victory does not depend on might and numbers, but on righteousness. Where there is Krishna, there is victory." Meanwhile, Duryodhana, seeing the Pandav army arrayed for war, approached Drona and said, "Sire, just look at the battle formation of the Pandavas. Bhishma will be their immediate target. Order the mightiest of warriors to surround and protect Bhishma." Then Bhishma blew on his conch, signaling the start of war. At the palace, Dhritarashtra asked Sanjaya, "O Sanjaya, what did my sons and those of Pandu do at the field of Kurukshetra?" "O king, Krishna blew on the Panchajanya and Arjun on the Devadat conches, signaling their readiness for war." Then Arjun told Krishna, "O Krishna, station my chariot in between the two armies. Let me have a good look at my opponents in this battle." And Krishna drove the chariot and positioned it in between the two armies. When Arjun saw his close relatives, teachers and friends in the two armies, a sudden change came over his mind. Gone was his self-assurance. Arjun said to Krishna, "O Krishna, the sight of the sea of familiar faces, all set for war, makes me weak-kneed. My mouth dry and my body trembled. The Gandiva is about to fall from my hands. My skin is aflame. My mind wanders and I can barely stand on my feet. O Krishna, if I must kill my kinsmen, I care not for victory, nor pleasure, nay, not even life itself. Those on whom we want to bestow our kingdom, wealth, and happiness are themselves here risking life itself. Fine on us, I would rather die unarmed at the hands of the sons of Dhritarashtra." With this, Arjun dropped the Gandiva and sat down in deep sorrow. Krishna then said, "O Arjun, what has come over you at this crucial moment? Such behavior does not behove great men. You will neither merit heaven nor achieve fame with such thoughts. Desist from this weakness and get ready to fight." Arjun replied, How can I fight Bhishma and Drona, both of whom I honor so much? We don't even know whether or not we should fight this war, or even who will win the battle. Here, stand before us the sons of Dhritarashtra. Will we be able to live happily after killing them? Krishna said, Arjun, you speak like a wise man and yet grieve needlessly. Just as the soul passes through the stages of childhood, youth and old age, so does it through death, and wise men do not grieve over this phenomenon. The body is mortal, but the soul is immortal. Just as a man discards old clothes and wears new ones, so does the eternal soul discard an old body and enter a new one. The soul is indestructible. No weapon can pierce it, no fire burn it, no air cannot dry it, and water cannot dissolve it. One who is born is certain to die, and one who dies is certain to be reborn. There is nothing to grieve over. O Arjun, if you die fighting, your place in heaven, if you die fighting, your place in heaven is assured. If you win, the whole earth is yours to rule forever. Rise up, without making any distinction between victory and defeat, pain and pleasure, gain and loss, resolve to fight. Your right is only to work, but never to its fruit. Let not the fruit of action be your motive, nor let your attachment to inaction. Perform your duty with evenness of mind, O Arjun. Arjun then asked, O Krishna, how does one become even-minded? Krishna replied, just as the tortoise withdraws its body into its shell, so does one of even mind withdraw his sense organs from delusions and attachments. On hearing this explanation, Arjun said, O Krishna, my doubts have now been destroyed and my mind has become clear. I will do as you bid. As Arjun picked up his Gandhiva and twanged it, a cheer burst forth among the Pandav ranks. Arjun has risen to fight. Victory to the Pandavas! And it was thus, O king, that Krishna, the Lord of the three worlds, discoursed upon dharma. Dispelling the doubts of Arjun, Krishna guided him onto the path of duty and righteousness. And thus, as the 30th session of our rendering of Vaishampayan's recital of Vyasa's immortal Ithihasa, the Mahabharata. Stay tuned for Mahabharata chapter 31, and it is called Bhishma in Command. Please subscribe to this channel, like, share and comment on this video. Thank you and Namaste.